Elio is the latest Pixar original 30 years after the release of its first movie in Toy Story, which is a masterpiece. Pixar continues to show you that they do not mess around when it comes to wowing you with spectacular imagery. And man, stop me if you've heard this one in 2025. You mean to tell me that a Disney studio is giving you a completely original story that is not relying on the past IP or nostalgia or being a sequel? Man, what a concept. Please do this more. So we follow our title character in Elio, who is a young underdog with an active imagination who finds himself inadvertently beamed up to the Communiverse. This is an interplanetary organization with representatives from galaxies far and wide. And this 10-year-old kid is mistakenly identified as Earth's ambassador to the rest of the universe because he is so excited to be abducted by these aliens that he sends a message out into the satellite system. That's actually really funny. And he starts to form a whole lot of new bonds with eccentric aliens while discovering who he's truly meant to be and where he truly belongs. Now, it's been a hot minute since we've had an original from Pixar. A couple of years, actually. Elemental came out. And a lot of people had some mixed feelings about it. They found it was good, but not great. It wasn't really the biggest hit of the box office. And I don't know, my theater, when I saw this tonight, wasn't packed to the brim. There were a lot of people in there, don't get me wrong. But I just want to see more consistently us going to the theater to tell Disney we want to see more originality. And that being said, I give Pixar a lot of credit for putting this story out there. And the message that Elio has at its center is so incredibly moving. And I don't want to dig too deep into spoilers, obviously, but if you've seen Elio, or if you want to go see Elio, if you saw the trailers, and kind of identifying that this kid is an outcast and figuring out whether or not he belongs in the society that he lives in, you can kind of get a glimpse of where I'm going with how powerful this message is. But you just gotta see it execution-wise, because Pixar once again delivers it like only Pixar can. There are 3 people that are credited with directing this movie, one of whom directed Turning Red, which came out a couple of years ago. That one was really fun as well. All about a young person figuring out where they fit into society as a person with the challenges that they have. And this young kid, Elio, is no different. He almost feels like a male version of Lilo. Someone who's super fascinated by aliens and whatnot. And he just wants to explore. He wants to see out into the great beyond. He wants to know if humans are the only beings in the galaxy. And I'm not saying that's all there is to his character, but there's something with him and his living situation with the character of Olga, who is played by the great Zoe Saldana. And immediately I recognized her voice right away. And it's not necessarily a case where, the actor is trying to mask themselves behind a character. It's not like Florence Pugh in Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, where I had to have the credits tell me who that was, and I was just blown away by it. Zoe Saldana is really good in this movie, but it's not necessarily a case where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's just a famous person voicing this character. But that kind of gets me into some of my issues with Elio. I'm not going to get into how Olga is related to Elio and the family history that's there, but I think there was a huge missed opportunity to just make the character of Olga Elliot's mom. Like, with how estranged their relationship even is, it probably would have been so much more heartbreaking and refreshing to see it be his actual mother. Versus, yep, say it with me, Elio's parents are freaking dead, man. Like, good God, Disney, how many times do I need to see the main character's parents being dead? As much as I praise this movie for at least being an original IP coming out in 2025, there are so many familiar aspects of this movie. I already mentioned that Elio already feels like a male version of Lilo, which is ironic because we literally just had the Lilo and Stitch live-action remake. But of course, being Disney, Elio's parents have to be freaking dead. And I also have to ask, I'm not going to get into how this story fits in. How many times do I have to see the liar reveal bit? Especially seeing how this is from a 10-year-old kid who does have his flaws and he does things that you shouldn't do, but you kind of give him a pass because he's just a kid. But then again, I have seen the layout of the liar reveal story so many times in movies, especially from Disney. But yeah, this movie was so close to being such an original, cute, and emotionally gripping idea on the level of, say, an Inside Out or a Soul. But instead, what we get because of these drawbacks It's something I feel like is very middling for Pixar. But despite all of that, I still strongly recommend that you guys go and see Elio, and don't try and pirate this thing. Go buy a ticket and go see this on the big screen with your family. Because at its crux, it is still a great family movie with a great message as only Pixar can provide you. And again, the visuals are just so gorgeous in this movie, man. The aliens all have very distinct designs. I feel like if you watch this movie more and more, you'll remember what each of them looks like. The main alien that Elio comes across, his name is Gordon, and he's a very sweet chonk character. He almost reminds me of Heimlich from A Bug's Life. And again, obviously, I'm not going to give it away, but how this movie wraps up and what you see in the final minutes of this movie, Pixar really wants to tug at your heartstrings like only they can. And they've been doing it for 3 decades now. But the reason why I recommend you go see this movie in the theaters isn't necessarily because of the overall quality. This isn't a movie that's going to blow you away story-wise. But even then, I'm sure if you really like space environments, if you enjoy aliens, you're probably going to adore this film. But I'm going to say go see this movie in a theater just to send this studio a message that we want more originality. And I feel like I said the same thing when I reviewed Elemental a couple of years ago. Please go and see this in the theater so that we encourage this studio to provide us more originality that made them what they are. And yet Elemental bombed for whatever reason. Why? But Elio is cute. I'm going to give it a B. Strong message, beautiful visuals. What's not to like? It's Pixar. But let me know what you think. Did you guys watch Elio? Do you guys adore this movie? What is your favorite Pixar movie that you've seen over the past 30 years of its existence? I love getting in front of this camera and talking all things in the geeky realm. I love talking all things Disney with you guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're new and tap on that thumbs up as well, please. It would be greatly appreciated. And stay tuned for more videos hitting this channel very soon, my friends. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.